Alright, I've gotten quite a few questions about the homework assignment, so I thought I would go ahead and take this opportunity to step through it right now from beginning to end. So let's try this. I tend to set up my semester into modules, so I'll go to modules. My machine is running really slowly, I apologize for that. And I'll come down to we'll say I'm coming down to week 1, August 18th through August 22nd. That was the week you're supposed to be reading and working through Unit F officially. But let's say you're still working on EXF Invoice, which isn't due until September 5th. I'll go ahead and click that link. And all of my instructions should be right here. I even included a copy of the assignment to make life a little easier on you, for those of you who didn't have the book by the time the assignment was due. There's a little case write-up in a sense. As the assistant to the Director of Contracting Services at a non-profit educational consulting firm, you review the non-payroll expense sheets submitted by employees for each contract. You decide to create a spreadsheet to track these contract expenses. So I'm going to come down a little bit and notice there is a data file that you'll have to use. I'm going to left click that file and choose to save link as. I've got so many things running. That's one of the reasons it's taken a while. And by the way, here's a note that says I'm going to upload file exf-invoice. I'm going to go ahead and rename my file. So now I have a copy. And that's downloading. Shouldn't take it very long at all. And I notice here, the first thing I need to do, according to instruction A, start Excel and open the file exf-6 from the location where we stored our data file. Save it as EX invoice. I've already saved it and renamed it, but I don't have it open. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I see the little green circle is gone, so I'm going to double click. It should be safe to open it now. And keep in mind, I have so many things open on my computer, this may take forever. I have Google Chrome open, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Camtasia, which is my recording software for you guys. Let's see if it's open yet. Not quite yet, but it's working. All I did was double click the file. And now I'm right here, hopefully. There we go. Now the very first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take Enable Editing off. That way I can see my ribbon and everything I need to see there. And let's check out my second instruction here. So I'll go back to Canvas. You'll have to get used to me jumping around, but I want to show you what I'm doing step by step. The first thing I've been asked to do is freeze rows 1 through 5 in the worksheet. Scroll vertically to verify rows 1 through 5 are visible at the top of the worksheet. So back to my worksheet here. And we're trying to keep 1 through 5 in place. So I'm going to click right here in row 6 and I'll go to View. And notice in the window group I have freeze panes. So click the drop down. Notice I can specify freeze panes, or I can specify to freeze just the top row or freeze just the first column. I'm just going to click this first option, freeze panes, because I don't need to freeze the first row or the first column, which would be column A. So I'll choose this first option, and notice now I see a line splitting up my Microsoft Excel worksheet. And if I scroll down, look at that, 1 through 5 stays in place. If I had not done that, let me take that off just to show you. Look at what happens if I scroll without freezing that initial information in place. I'll freeze it again just to show you. So now I can continually see my header. So hey, that's B out of the way. Let's go back to our assignment and see what else we have to do. Clicking the wrong thing there. Research the steps necessary to hide a formula in the formula bar of a worksheet. Record these steps in cell A1 on sheet 2 of the workbook. Then hide the display of the formula for cell B38 on sheet 1. Check the formula bar to verify the formula is hidden. Alright, that's number C. Now, to do research, I can either Google for a right answer, or it may be somewhere in the textbook. After all, we were talking about how to be careful with information that we're trying to keep safe from our users. So let me start by reviewing the book to see if anything was mentioned about how to hide a formula. So I've got an ebook here. I'm just going to go back to the beginning. Managing workbook data. View and arrange. I don't think would be there. But now protecting worksheets and workbooks. It could definitely be here. I'll make this a little larger. And look at there under my quick tip. To hide any formulas that you don't want to be visible, select the cells that contain formulas that you want to hide. And it tells me exactly what to do. Open the Format Cells dialog box, then click the Hidden checkbox on the Protection tab to select it. The formula will be hidden after the worksheet is protected. So I'm going to move my book out of the way, and now I'm back to my spreadsheet. I've done my research. I'm supposed to place those steps on sheet 2, so I'll click sheet 2, and I'll type what I read in the quick tip. And basically it was simply to go to Format Cells and click the Hidden checkbox on the Protection tab. On the Protection tab. And it doesn't have to be a lot of information, just something that shows that I dug around a bit and I found what I was looking for. Now it's time to actually do it. So let me go back and double check my instructions here. Research the steps. I did that. Record the steps in cell A1 on sheet 2. Did that. Now it's time to actually go back and hide the display of the formula for cell B38. So I'm going to go find B38. There it is. And what were my steps again? First, to open the Format Cells dialog box. Let me go back to my Home tab. And I have the cells group here. If I come down, I notice that under Protection I have Protect Sheet, Lock Cell, and Format Cells. There was an example earlier in Unit F as to how to protect sheets. But this is one way of getting into my Format Cells dialog box. So I'll click that. Hopefully it'll think a minute and go ahead and bring that up. Or maybe it'll take longer than a minute to think about it because I have so many things open. I'm also running dual monitors, and that slows down things quite a bit also. Now notice I can, beneath locked, I can specify hidden. Pretty good, right? Click OK. Now notice I can still see that formula, which is a no-no. But don't forget that protecting a sheet is really a two-step process. The first step of this process is making sure that the cells you do not want your users to tamper with are locked, and then deselecting locked when you're okay with a user tampering with a cell, or making changes to a cell, I should say. So that's the first step. The second step is actually taking the time to go to the Review tab above the ribbon and choosing to Protect Sheet. You have a number of options you can choose from. I'm just going to click OK, but now notice there is no sign of the formula for my user. So that's another step that I've taken care of. Let's go back and see what our next assignment's going to be, or our next task, I should say. Bring up my textbook also over here. D, save your workbook. If you don't have a Microsoft account, research the steps for creating an account and create your Microsoft ID. Use your Microsoft ID to log into your SkyDrive, then save your file on your SkyDrive. And you may be thinking, what's a Microsoft account? What's a SkyDrive? Well, that was the whole idea behind research. Oops, that didn't work. Well, so now I've got to pull up something to research. And why don't I try Google? And earlier in the book, SkyDrive may have been mentioned, but since it's already saying you need to create an account, I'm just going to go straight to the internet on that one. And I'll type in Google there. I'm not sure I hit enter. Now that I'm opening even more things, I'm hoping my system doesn't crash at any moment. Find the Google. There we go. I was worried I was going to have to close something. And the idea was to open a Microsoft account and log into my SkyDrive. And you're probably thinking, you know what? I don't have a SkyDrive. I don't even know what a SkyDrive is. So let's Google that. And notice one of the first things that comes up, for me at least, is Microsoft OneDrive. Access files anywhere. Create docs, SkyDrive Live. So I'll click that. And hey, this is pretty cool. So you can sign up if you need to. Now what you're basically going to be doing once you sign up for the service, and I already have a Microsoft account, so I don't have to do the whole sign up for one. I've had one for years. But what this permits you to do is actually create a cloud drive. You've heard of all kinds of things happening on the cloud. For instance, we had some actresses or celebrities or whatever whose accounts were hacked, they think perhaps, and now their personal pictures are out on the internet without their permission. Well, unfortunately, this is a similar kind of account. Your information would be saved on a server far away, but you could log into it, log into that server location or that drive no matter where you are, as long as you have access to the internet. So this is a great tool for people who have to work in more than one place. So like I said, I don't have to sign up for this. I already have an account, but after you sign up, then you'll be able to log in, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. Be sure to use a password that you'll remember, but also one that's complicated enough that it couldn't be hacked. And this just gives you an idea of what's out here. It's a place where you can create folders. Look at that. And then later upload files if you needed to. So that would cover D. Save your workbook. If you don't have a Microsoft account, research the steps for creating an account. Create your Microsoft ID. Use your Microsoft ID to log into your SkyDrive. It's now called OneDrive, I believe, or both perhaps. Then save your file on your SkyDrive. Share your workbook with a classmate. If you don't want to share your workbook with a classmate, you could also share your workbook with me. So let me go ahead and walk through that while I'm at it. I'll go back to my SkyDrive or my OneDrive. I'll choose Upload. And before I do that, let me go ahead and walk through maybe creating a folder. And I'll name that folder CIS 235-01. If this is the online class, this would be section 2. And I'll click that, get into it. And just because it'll make me feel better, I'm going to go ahead and also put here Microsoft Excel. Just to show you that we can have a true table structure. Unit F. And you don't have to create all of these additional folders, but just to give you an idea that you can do that. Now that I'm inside Unit F, I'm going to click Upload. Find the file that I'm looking for. Here's Invoice. Look at how quickly that loaded for me. There is the file. So now when I go home, I can open that file. If I'm here at the office, I can open this file. If I'm down in the lab, I can open this file. I don't have to carry a jump drive with me wherever I go. So that's pretty cool. Now as for sharing it, look at one of the options here. Put a little check mark there. Open, download, share. I'll put share. And I could share this. And I'll add a quick note. Wow, this was so cool. And I'll click share. It's thinking about it, it's thinking about it. Now really, I could probably move on to something else, but I am going to try to be a little patient. And notice I can edit. You can actually fix it so that more than one person can work on the same file at the same time. That's pretty cool. But right now, I'll just close that. And that will allow me to say, you know what? I'm done with item D. And E, share your workbook with a classmate. You can share your workbook with me. If you don't want to ask your classmate for an email address, it's perfectly okay. Now, I protected my sheet in order to hide my formula. But now this says that they need me to unprotect my sheet. My formula will be displayed. Add a header that includes my name on the left side of the worksheet. This will unfreeze rows 1 through 5. Use the page layout tab to scale sheet 1 to fit vertically on one page. Save the workbook, then preview the worksheet. So that's quite a bit. Let's go ahead and start that. We're told to, right now, notice I cannot see the formula, but once I unprotect the sheet, now I can see the formula. Our next step was to add a header that includes my name on the left side of the worksheet. So a quick way of doing that is if I can come right down to the lower right here, I can go to page layout. And look at that. Here's my warning. Page layout view is not compatible with freeze panes. If you continue, the panes on the sheet will be unfrozen. Would you like to continue? Yes, I'm okay with that. The book told me that would happen, so I don't feel too badly about it. And let me wait a moment for my machine to stop thinking about it. I'll go ahead and put my name here over to the left. The next thing that I was supposed to do was, using the page layout tab, scale sheet 1 to fit vertically on one page. So they tell me where to go. Go to page layout. And I want to get this to fit vertically on one page. I'll go ahead and specify one page here, just to make sure nothing eventually spills over. Oh, and look, something is spilling down. So I'm going to scale that height as well. And really, I probably only had to do the height since they specified that. All right, pretty good so far. Let's go back. We added a header that included our name on the left side of the worksheet. It did unfreeze our rows 1 through 5. Using the page layout tab, scale sheet 1 to fit vertically. We did that. Save the workbook, then preview the worksheet. Let's do that. Now we've already saved once, so this should be just a matter of me clicking the save button here on the quick access toolbar. Or I could go to File. I don't know if you see my cursor blinking because I'm recording here. Oh, I could click Save there as well. To preview, I can come down and we'll think about, there we go, my print preview. Notice one very important thing, only one page, whereas before it probably really was one of 2 pages. But now we got everything to fit neatly on that one page. So we are through with wow, we're through with item F. Now item G. If you are able to create a folder on the computer you are working on, create a folder named Templates in the location where you store your data files. Use the Excel options menu to change the location where templates are saved to the path of your new template folder. Hint, I love hints. Click the File menu, click Options, click Save, then enter the path in the default personal templates. So let's try that next. And I'm going to go back to my normal view. I prefer that. And actually, I am able to create a folder on the computer I'm working on because it's my computer. And I'll close all of this, or minimize at least. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder right here on my desktop. Why not? My computer is, as usual, rebelling. Please work. And I right-clicked to get that shortcut or context-sensitive menu, not left-click. We left-click to select. We right-click to get the shortcut menu. And I'm going to select New here. Let me do that one more time. I moved. New folder. Template. And you could have placed yours anywhere in Documents or My Documents on your hard drive. Alright, template. Now I'll come right back here. The next part of this, create a folder named Templates, minus template, but that's okay. In the location where you store your data files, for right now, that is where I'll be storing this data file. Use the Excel Options menu. Where do I get the Excel Options menu? I can go to File and Options. And click the File menu, click Options, click Save, then enter the path in the default Personal Templates Location text box. And so, let me come down here to Save. And I'm actually using Excel 2010. If you're using 2013, things will look slightly differently to you, but not just so different that you can't do this assignment. But right now, I am noticing that I have a number of default file locations that I can choose to save here. Right now I see my auto recover file location and I see my default file location. Usually my default file location is Documents. Now I should also have another one for templates, and that may be unique to no, I don't. It shouldn't be unique to Microsoft Excel 2013. Now that I think about it, default personal file options save, and actually it may be there. If you see templates in a list, you're going to replace that. Let me show you how we do that. I'm going to double-click template when it stops thinking about it. Ooh, that can be good. Okay. Come on, open up. There we go. All I did was double click to open that folder. I'm going to click behind, I'm going to click behind template here because I want the entire address to show up so that I can select it and choose copy. Now I can go to File, Options, and Save. And I could put, if this was my file location for templates, I could right click and paste, or Control V on the keyboard for paste. And Microsoft Excel would then save everything I did actually in Microsoft Excel right there. So let's move on to the next assignment. Oops. Alright. So now we've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G. H, delete the amount values in column B and save the workbook as an Excel template in the templates folder you created in the step above. Alright, so let's go back. And I am supposed to delete my amount values in column B. So I'll get rid of this. None of that information should be there. And let me also get rid of transportation and all of that. I'm going to save this as a template when we want to save a file with a different name or in a different location or as a different type, and we want to save this as a template. I click Save As. And one thing I want you to pay close attention to, notice that URL, because this is really going to be my clue as to where Microsoft Excel puts my templates. So I'm going to change my Save As type here, and I want to find, look at that, Excel template. Ah, that's where my templates are placed. I'll have to tweak that, because right now I don't want to do that. So I'm deviating from your textbook just a bit. I'm going to put my template on the desktop here and save. But apparently 2010 and 2013 differ slightly in where they place that window that allows you to change your template folder location. I'll do an addendum to my video. But as for now, we're still heading down. Alright. We deleted the amount values in column B, saved our workbook as an Excel template in the templates folder that we created in the step above. Now we're going to open a new workbook based on the template, and they give us another hint, and we know how I feel about hints. Click File, click New, then click Personal, then click the template name. Okay, that doesn't sound too complicated, right? So here we go. Click File, click New, and had I saved this in my official templates folder, my new template would be right here, or in a folder called Personal. But since I didn't do that, or my templates here, yeah. But since I didn't do that, I'm gonna have to go get my folder, and that's okay, because it gives me the opportunity to show you something. Notice how a template file looks slightly different from a regular file. It doesn't have that little bar up at the top. But if I double click this, oops, I already have it open. Let me close this one first. Now I'll double click it. Now look at what's appended to my file name, exf-invoice1. So every time someone double clicks my template, they'll get a fresh copy of it, and I won't be messing up the original template. Hey, the very last thing that you're asked to do, submit the workbook and template to your instructor, then click then exit Excel. You know what? That's it. So if I wanted to submit this assignment, I'd be good to do that right now. I could choose my file. Look at, for those of you who like Dropbox, there's another way of keeping up with your files in the cloud. Here's my template folder. There's my template. If I wanted to add another file, I could, but I don't have to here. I could add comments. Gee, Dr. Webster, this was a piece of cake. Submit. And that looks pretty good. Well, we're going to say that's it for us. I'm working on this little video at my office, and it's after 6 o'clock, and I hear the band is really playing outside of my window. So I guess we're going to stop here before they get really involved. They are really having a jam session. Do people still say jam session? I don't know. We'll stop here.